Her breath was ragged, heart racing. She glanced back, two shadows were closing in, fast.
Mia had just finished a perfect night. Her friends had danced the evening away, laughing, talking about everything and nothing, the kind of night that stays in your memory forever. But now, alone, the streets were quiet, and every sound seemed amplified. The gentle hum of the wind, the distant bark of a dog, it all felt ominous. Her phone buzzed in her hand, her friend texting to make sure she got home safe. She was about to reply when she heard it, footsteps, heavier than hers, faster. She slowed her pace, listening, her instincts flaring. Am I just being paranoid? She thought. But as she glanced back, her stomach dropped. Two men, walking directly toward her, their movements too deliberate. Her heart pounded. No, not tonight. Please. She quickened her steps, her heels clicking against the concrete like the ticking of a countdown clock. The men's pace matched hers, their figures looming closer in the dim streetlights. Hey! Girl! One of them shouted, his voice thick with an intent she didn't want to imagine. Mia felt her pulse in her throat, her skin prickling with fear. Her mind raced. Where's the quickest way out? Where can I go? Every corner of her familiar neighborhood now seemed alien and dangerous, the once comforting streets now filled with shadows and threats. She picked up her pace again, fighting the panic rising in her chest. Her breath came in sharp gasps, and the night air felt colder against her skin. Her phone was still in her hand, but her fingers were trembling too much to use it. Just call someone. Text someone. Her mind screamed, but she couldn't stop, there wasn't time. She turned a corner sharply, her heel catching on a crack in the pavement. She stumbled, barely catching herself, and a sharp pain shot through her ankle. No! Not now! Her heart raced as she tore off her shoes, tossing them aside as if they were the source of her problems. Barefoot, she ran faster, her feet slapping against the cold, hard ground. The men were getting closer, their voices clearer, and the sound of their footsteps grew louder. She could hear them laughing now, a sickening sound that sent a chill down her spine. Why me? Why tonight? The thoughts spiraled through her mind, but she didn't stop running. She couldn't. Suddenly, she saw an alley to her right, dimly lit but narrow enough to slow them down. She veered into it, hoping it would give her just a few more seconds, anything to widen the distance. But as she turned, she realized it was a dead end. Her breath caught in her throat, panic surging through her veins. No, no, no. Frantically, she scanned for another way out. There, a fire escape ladder hanging just a few feet above her. With every ounce of strength, she jumped, her fingers just grazing the bottom rung. She jumped again, her fingertips gripping the cold metal. But the ladder was slick, and her muscles were burning from the effort. Just then, the sound of tires on the pavement caught her attention. A car was turning into the alley. She froze, torn between hope and terror. Is it someone who can help? Or someone else dangerous? But she had no time to think. The headlights washed over her, and she waved desperately, her voice hoarse from fear. Please! Help me! The car came to a stop, the driver's side window rolling down slowly. A woman in her mid-30s leaned out, her face filled with concern. Get in, she shouted. Without a second thought, Mia darted to the car, throwing herself into the passenger seat, slamming the door shut just as the two men rounded the corner. The woman hit the gas, and they sped away, the men's shouts fading into the distance. Mia's chest heaved as she collapsed back into the seat, tears streaming down her face. She was safe. She had escaped. The adrenaline still pumped through her veins, but the relief was overwhelming. The woman glanced over at her, offering a reassuring smile. You're okay now. You're safe. As they drove away, the reality of what had just happened started to settle in. Mia closed her eyes, letting the tears fall freely. Tonight, I got lucky.